All right, welcome. Today, we're going to cut right through all the noise and build a really clear, solid understanding of what's happening in the world of AI, piece by piece. Let's dive in. You know, if you feel like you're drowning in a sea of buzzwords, you are definitely not alone. AI 2.0, large language models, natural language processing, it's a lot. But hang in there, because by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how all these pieces fit together. The world of AI can feel like this dense, complicated jungle, right? But here's the secret. It's all built on just a few core, understandable ideas. And together, we're going to blaze a trail right through it. Think of it like this. AI is this massive, complex building. From the outside, it looks totally intimidating. But today, we're handing you the blueprint. We're going to start with the foundation and build our way up step by step. So to get started, you have to know that at its heart, AI has really followed two completely different paths. And understanding this split, well, it's the most important first step to making sense of everything else. So on one side, you've got rule-based systems. A perfect example is a simple calculator. You type in 2 plus 2, and it follows one strict rule to give you 4 every single time. It's predictable, it's accurate, but it's totally inflexible. It can't do anything new. Then on the other side, you've got pattern-based systems, which is what today's LLMs are. These things learn from huge amounts of data to make, well, educated guesses. They're incredibly versatile, but they take a ton of resources, and sometimes they can be wrong with a whole lot of confidence. Okay, so keeping those two ideas, rules and patterns, in mind, let's look at how this is all played out over time. We're going to focus on AI that deals with language, because its history is pretty fascinating. You can really break the journey of natural language processing, or NLP for short, into 4 distinct chapters. And each chapter represents this huge leap forward in how machines understand us, with each one building right on top of the last. First up, we have the rule-based era. So from the 50s all the way to the 80s, if you wanted a computer to understand language, you literally had to sit down and write every single rule by hand. If a sentence starts with who, it's a question. It worked, kinda, but you can just imagine how fragile and limited that system was. Then came the statistical era. Instead of humans writing rules, AI started learning from data. It would look at millions of sentences and just calculate probabilities. It would guess that the next word in the boy and the is probably dog, just because that phrase is super common. It was definitely more flexible, but it had no real grasp of context at all. Next up, the machine learning era. Now AI could learn much more complex patterns. For example, it could figure out if a product review was positive or negative by spotting words like great or terrible. But, and this is a big but, it still needed a lot of human handholding. We had to tell the AI exactly what features, what words, to even look for in the first place. And that was the wall. That's the barrier these earlier models hit. Yeah, they were getting better, but they just couldn't handle the deep, subtle context that makes human language, well, human. They could process words short, but they couldn't really understand meaning over a long conversation. And this set the stage for a total revolution. And that revolution is the deep learning era, which brings us right up to the modern large language models we have today. This is where things get really interesting. So what even is deep learning? Well, the best analogy I've heard is a master chef. A new cook learns basic flavors, right? Then with experience, they learn how to combine them. A master chef, though, they understand the deep chemistry between ingredients. Deep learning works just like that, in layers. The first layer spots simple patterns. The next layer combines those patterns, and on it goes, until it can grasp incredibly complex ideas. And the building blocks for all of this? They're called neural networks. Just think of them as a simplified version of the human brain. Each little artificial neuron processes a tiny piece of information, and when you connect millions of them together, the whole network can learn to spot complex patterns, just like our own brains do. Now, the thing that really unlocked the power we see today was a breakthrough called the transformer architecture. Its secret weapon is something called an attention mechanism. See, before this, models would just get lost in long sentences. They'd forget what the beginning was about. The attention mechanism fixed that. It lets the model weigh the importance of every single word in relation to every other word. It can figure out that in a long paragraph, the word it actually refers to a product mentioned 10 sentences ago. This was the absolute game changer. And that massive breakthrough leads us directly to the large language model, the LLM. The best way to think about an LLM is like having a super skilled assistant with a nearly perfect memory. It doesn't just understand your last question, it remembers the entire conversation, which allows for these incredibly deep, context-aware interactions.
Okay, so we've flown through the history and the theory, but what does this all mean in the real world, in practice? Let's look at how this whole evolution has completely transformed a common business tool.
A customer service chatbot is the perfect example. Back in the machine learning era, a chatbot could really only spot a keyword, like refund. Then in the early deep learning phase, it got better. It could understand a sequence of words. But now, in the post-LLM world, a chatbot can understand a complex question like, hey, what are my options for this item I bought last week? And then generate a detailed human-like response from scratch. That is the incredible leap we've just made. It's also really important to know that not all LLMs are created equal. You've got autoregressive models like GPT that are amazing at generating new text, perfect for chatbots or drafting emails. Then you have bidirectional models like BERT that read text forwards and backwards to get a much deeper understanding of context, which is great for things like sentiment analysis. And now we have these incredible multimodal models like Gemini that can process text, images, and audio all at once, opening up a whole new universe of possibilities. And that brings us to today. We've gone from simple, handwritten rules to complex, brain-like networks that are fundamentally changing how we interact with technology. Let's wrap this up with the most important takeaways for any leader who's watching this space. So, what should you walk away with? First, the pace of this AI 2.0 revolution is absolutely staggering. It could be even faster and more disruptive than the internet. Second, remember that while these models are powerful, they are not perfect. Verifying critical information is essential. For businesses, that means you have to be both strategic and very careful about adoption. And finally, keep a close eye on government regulations because you can be sure they're on the way. So this is where we are. The foundational tech for a completely new era has been built, and it's getting better at a mind-blowing speed. The revolution isn't on its way, it's already here. So the only real question left for all of us is, are you ready to start building with it?